Good morning, and welcome to Caring for Me, Caring for You, a thought and a prayer for the week. Without question, this has been one of the emotionally charged weeks that I can ever remember. There has been so much going on, and the horror of the bill that was passed leaves us as family caregivers in a very difficult and frightful place. And it was interesting in our series that we're doing. It seems almost divinely guided because each week it seems that the next prayer, which is just sequential in the book, Peace Be Still, Prayers and Affirmations for Family Caregivers, written by yours truly and the Reverend Marian Gambardella. The prayer for this week is called Rest, and I can't help but give thanks for that, because I know I am, and I know many other people are totally exhausted emotionally. And we need to stop, we need to rest, we need to refresh. It was a very quiet, certainly in my life and in the lives of many, 4th of July. July 4th, 1776, the great Declaration of Independence. July 3rd, 2025, one of the most devastating attacks on America with this horrendous bill that scapegoats a group of people who have been the foundation and the backbone of this country, the immigrants who have taken on the jobs that others will not take on. And we've already seen the total lack of planning. Food, crops, going to waste. Shut down farms. We've seen it with the construction industry. Stopped. And now we're going to be seeing it more and more in the healthcare industry because we have been so dependent on so many loving, caring persons. The people who are the reason for all of this are not the immigrants and the poor, though they and all of us will suffer for it. It's the wealth, the business, the billionaires. There are many wonderful businesses, but it's the billionaires. Greed, greed, greed. And while I get very upset by it, as rightfully all of us does, I'm also reminded of two things, and I want to share those. During the civil rights time and during the gay rights time, when we were just beginning to make statements which were of great threat to the white supremacy, which is exactly at the core of everything that's happening now. A group of old, supposedly Christian, white, and supposedly straight men are fearing that they're no longer in charge. Well, they are not. Their time has long been gone. But it is that white supremacy, the plantation owner mentality. I'm not going to go further on that. However, I looked back and I was remembering the times of the civil rights work and the early AIDS days. And a very brilliant and well-known person, I'm going to leave them nameless for that reason, he and I had a conversation, and he said, Greg, we have to stop fighting against. If this movement is to take place, we must stop fighting against and fight for. And I've always loved that, as many times as I forget it, because I can get as caught up in humanity as anyone. But we need to be fighting for, with love and care. And then I began thinking of the journey in the last 30 years, nearly 30 years, that I've been involved in the world of family caregiving, Because when I was first invited to do this work, I knew nothing about healthcare. I knew nothing about insurance, and yet I was blessed to be invited by a wonderful health and wellness corporation here in New York, Emblem Health, and invited to create a program that would bring attention to the silent patients, the family caregivers. And I began being active not only within the corporation, with the employees and the members, but also on a city level, and then a state level, and then a national level, the White House Conference on Aging, and there were so many of them. But it was education. We needed to get the word out. We were fighting for awareness, acceptance, and action for family caregivers. And that began one-on-one. And I can't help but remember how when we would go to Washington and we would make calls on the congresspersons and the senators, we knew certain persons because it was either well known publicly or we had an introduction of a member who was or is or had been, as Rosalynn Carter always says, a family caregiver. And certainly Mrs. Carter was a great boost in that. But we began going one by one and building support, and certain wonderful things would happen. And then there would be a change of administration. And then we would build again and we would keep going because every election it was a new group of people. There were some from the past, but then we had to keep teaching and keep sharing and keep bringing forth the passion for family caregiving. And then in 2022, the wonderful AARP came out with the study that probably did more for family caregiving than anything I can think of. They published the article, the paper, entitled Valuing the Invaluable, in which it said very simply that the 53, I think that was the number used then, 53 million family caregivers in America, if their work were valued and paid, it would be valued at $600 billion US. And that immediately got everyone's attention. And we were blessed under the Biden administration. Many of us who have been very active in the world of family caregiving were invited to the White House. And something occurred there that I shall never forget. I've been blessed to know every president since Jimmy Carter and have interacted with each in different ways for different reasons. But I don't think anything was as powerful as going to the White House and hearing President Biden tell his caregiving story. I never thought I would live to see the day when caregiving from the White House would be shared. Yes, Mrs. Carter did that, and she became very known for the Rosalynn Carter Institute. But then there was a period where it got mentioned, but never did we hear the story as we heard it from President Biden telling his own caregiving story after the death of his first wife and child. And immediately, over, I believe it was 360 some executive orders were done for all departments relating to how they could contribute to helping the family caregivers. Well, now it's 2025. We have a very sad administration, a very fascist regime who only look to blame and to further hate. And most of those executive orders have been nullified, forgotten, history. And even if they were there, many of the brilliant persons who helped to create those proposals are gone, fired, lost. And now we have some perfectly inept people running HHS. Now, having said that, am I going to keep fighting the past and being against what they've done? No. I'm going to sit back and be very active in doing what I've done for 30 years, and that is fight for the family caregivers, the backbone of the healthcare systems. I'm going to be talking to corporations. I'm going to be talking to foundations. We've got to create anew, but there are enough of us, and each of us is blessed with a spark of the divine within us. So that's why I particularly loved the writing for this morning, entitled Rest. I hope you, like me, that's what I did on the 4th of July. I had a very quiet, reflective day, a day in which I promised not to give up. But the only way I could not give up is if I stopped fighting against and fight for the thing that I love and feel that I've been called in my ministry to do, to go onward in love and caregiving. Join me. And now, I love this prayer. It puts me in the space that I need to be in order to move forward. And forward is where we're headed. Remember, the rearview mirror is very small. There's a big windshield looking ahead. Be still and know that I am God. I am with you. I love you and will never let you go, for I am not in things outside. I am within you, your own divinity, your own piece of heaven and eternity, now and always. O divine friend, creator, redeemer, and sustainer, how blessed to claim my spiritual inheritance. Awaken in me the willingness to accept your presence within and to grow more and more like you each day in eternal oneness with you, O Father, Mother, God. I feel totally overwhelmed. I am lost, afraid, confused, panicked, and alone. But I am not. You are with me. Keep me mindful that I am not God, you are. Together we can do all that is possible here on earth and in eternity for my loved ones and all for whom we care. Help me to surrender my need to control and cure. I know that I cannot do these things. Help me to focus on caring, accepting the situation just as it is, and being present in love. Walking with another, wherever that journey may lead. Keep me focused on today, not yesterday, with its regrets and errors, nor tomorrow, which may never come at all. Keep me in today with all its challenges and blessings. Keep me ever mindful of your presence in all persons, places, things, and situations. In each I claim your spirit of love, goodness, and peace. And in that, in you, I rest in peace. I know that I can begin this day again and again, returning in this prayer or another to you, in whom I live and move and have my being. This I claim for myself and my loved ones, and it is so. Amen and amen. Thank you for joining me. I hope if this resonates with you, you too will join me. Onward in love and caregiving, uniting the world in caregiving. Namaste. God bless. And I look forward to seeing you next week. God bless.